If you've spent any amount of time learning about Neville Goddard, you've probably absorbed a certain set of ideas by now. Visualize what you want. Feel it as real. Live in the end. Assume the wish fulfilled. These teachings all point in a similar direction. Focus intently on your desire, imagine it vividly, and hold that feeling until it becomes your reality. But there's one teaching Neville gave that seems to contradict almost everything else he taught, and it's the one most people conveniently skip over, because it's uncomfortable and honestly it's a little inconvenient. He said, don't seek. He said that the moment you're desperately seeking something, chasing it, needing it, you actually push it further away. And real manifestation happens not through intense focused wanting, but through a kind of quiet indifference to the outcome. Let's sit with how strange this sounds at first, especially if you've been taught that manifestation requires focus, intention, and consistent visualization. How can not seeking something possibly help you get it? Isn't the entire point of these techniques to want something enough to imagine it vividly and consistently? This is exactly where Neville's teaching gets nuanced, in a way that most simplified manifestation content completely misses. Because there's a crucial difference between holding a clear, calm assumption of already having something, and desperately, anxiously seeking it out of a feeling of lack. These sound similar on the surface, but they come from completely different inner places, and Neville insisted that only one of them actually works. Think about the difference between someone who already has financial security and someone who's desperately trying to get it. The person who already has security doesn't spend their day seeking money, checking for it, chasing it, worrying about whether it's coming. They simply live, calm, unattached, because on some level they already trust it's handled. The person desperately seeking security, on the other hand, is in a completely different internal state. Tense, anxious, constantly scanning for signs, constantly needing reassurance. Neville's point was that the entire goal of manifestation isn't to become a better seeker. It's to stop seeking altogether. Because seeking itself is proof that you still believe you don't have it. This creates an almost paradoxical tension in his teaching. On one hand, he taught vivid imagination, deliberate visualization, consciously entering the feeling of the wish fulfilled. On the other hand, he taught that true manifestation requires a kind of relaxed release, an almost indifferent trust, rather than intense, anxious seeking. The resolution to this apparent contradiction lies in understanding what visualization is actually supposed to accomplish. It's not meant to be a form of desperate seeking dressed up in spiritual language. It's meant to shift your inner state so completely that you stop seeking entirely, because you've already, internally, arrived at the feeling of having it. This is where so many people accidentally get manifestation wrong, even while thinking they're doing everything Neville taught correctly. They visualize their desire, but they do it from a place of lack, checking constantly afterward to see if it's working, anxiously tracking their own progress, treating the visualization itself as another form of seeking rather than as a genuine internal shift. Neville would say this defeats the entire purpose, because the anxious checking afterward reveals that the underlying assumption hasn't actually changed. You're still operating from the belief that you don't have it yet. And that belief, not the visualization technique, is what determines your outcome. Let's go deeper into why seeking specifically works against you, according to this teaching. When you're in a state of seeking, your entire attention is oriented around lack. Even if you're seeking something wonderful, something exciting, the seeking itself keeps you anchored in the feeling of not yet having it. Every moment spent seeking is a moment spent reinforcing the current absence of what you want, rather than reinforcing its presence. It's a subtle but crucial distinction. Wanting something intensely enough to seek it desperately actually strengthens your belief in its absence, while calmly assuming you already have it, without needing to seek confirmation, strengthens your belief in its presence. I want to bring this down to something practical, because this distinction matters enormously in daily life. Imagine someone who wants a specific relationship to develop. If they're in a state of seeking, they're checking their phone constantly, analyzing every text for hidden meaning, feeling anxious during periods of silence, needing constant reassurance that things are progressing the way they hope. Even if this person has practiced visualization exercises about the relationship, the underlying state throughout most of their day remains one of anxious seeking, which continually reinforces the very lack they're trying to overcome. Now imagine someone who has quietly assumed the relationship is already secure, already mutual, already exactly as they want it to be. This person isn't checking their phone anxiously, isn't needing constant confirmation, isn't seeking proof throughout the day. Their calm, secure indifference to needing external validation is exactly the internal state Neville pointed to as the one that actually allows manifestation to unfold naturally. This teaching also explains something that confuses a lot of people who feel like they've tried everything and nothing has worked. They've done the visualization, they've said the affirmations, they've tried to feel the wish fulfilled during specific practice sessions. But the rest of their day is still dominated by anxious, seeking, checking, worrying, needing proof. A few minutes of visualization simply can't outweigh hours of anxious seeking, because the seeking itself is the dominant state being reinforced throughout the majority of their waking hours. Neville's teaching suggests that real transformation doesn't come from occasionally visualizing the opposite of your current anxious state. It comes from actually shifting your overall relationship to seeking itself, learning to release the desperate need for reassurance, timeline, and proof. Let's talk about what practicing this actually looks like, because on the surface, don't seek can sound almost like giving up, which isn't what Neville meant at all. This isn't about abandoning your desires or pretending you don't care about outcomes that genuinely matter to you. It's about shifting the emotional quality behind pursuing them, moving from anxious, needy pursuit to calm, confident, almost playful engagement, where you take whatever inspired action feels natural, but you release the desperate grip on needing to see immediate proof or reassurance that it's working. Practically, this means noticing when you slip into seeking mode throughout your day. The anxious checking, the constant need for reassurance, the inability to relax until you see evidence, and gently interrupting that pattern. Instead of checking again, pause. Instead of needing proof right now, remind yourself calmly that you've already done the inner work of assuming. And now your only job is to release the need to seek confirmation. This isn't always easy, especially with desires that feel emotionally significant. But it's exactly the shift Neville insisted was necessary for genuine manifestation to occur, rather than anxious, exhausting effort that ultimately reinforces the very lack you're trying to escape. I also want to acknowledge why this particular teaching feels so contradictory to so much of the broader manifestation content circulating today. A huge amount of popular manifestation advice actually encourages more seeking, checking your vision board daily, tracking your manifestation progress obsessively, journaling constantly about whether things are shifting. While these practices aren't inherently bad, they can easily slide into anxious seeking if not held loosely. if not balanced with genuine release and trust. Neville's teaching offers an important corrective here, reminding us that the goal was never to become better, more consistent seekers. The goal was always to arrive at a state so calm, so secure, so already fulfilled, that seeking itself naturally falls away, because you no longer need external proof to feel complete. There's something deeply freeing in truly understanding this teaching, even though it initially feels uncomfortable, or even a little counterintuitive. It means you're allowed to stop the exhausting cycle of constant checking, constant tracking, constant anxious monitoring of whether your manifestation is working. It means the actual practice becomes simpler, not more complicated, less about perfecting complex visualization techniques, and more about consistently, gently releasing the anxious grip of seeking, returning again and again to calm, secure trust, whenever you notice yourself slipping back into desperate pursuit. So if there's something in your life you've been desperately seeking, checking for, needing proof of, I want to invite you to try something different. Instead of seeking harder, instead of visualizing more intensely, instead of tracking your progress more obsessively, try releasing the seeking itself. Do your inner work. Calmly assume the feeling of already having what you want. Take whatever inspired action feels natural and aligned, and then, genuinely, let go of needing to seek confirmation that it's working. This is the teaching most people skip, because it asks you to trust more deeply than simply trying harder ever could. And paradoxically, according to Neville, this quiet release, this willingness to stop seeking, is often exactly what finally allows the thing you wanted to arrive.